You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
What's going on, fam? How you doing? You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and on podcast 290 is me and DC. What's going on, DC?
Yo, what up? I'm trying to call the right plays, you know what I'm saying? And not get fined. Just here so I won't get fined.
That's right. Podcast 290, man. We're going to recap the Saints and Panthers game. The Saints come up with the win 12-9, and we're going to recap it, man. Very interesting game, to say the least. The Saints offense still not out of that funk, as you can tell. Still struggling to kind of pick up steam here. But anyway, we're going to pick up and talk about that today. We're going to cover the Saints news and notes, thumbs up, thumbs down segment. We're going to cover the Saints still suspect. We'll talk about the great D and the Saints special team play, which ultimately helped this game get the Saints lock this game down. We also have the Sports Coma question of the day that we'll hit you with momentarily, and other news and notes as well as we get right into podcast 290. Thank you for joining us on the Sports Coma today. And like I said, man, this is an interesting game. For the most part, the Saints came into this one, man, and we thought it would be a lot more points being scored, and it finished up being 12-9. A lot of suspect calls in this game, by Sean Payton, by the garbage time referee staff. It's just, it was real strange. Of course, they had over 74,000 people in there to watch the Carolina Panthers, and we knew that. I knew that the Panthers weren't going to win this game, but Cam Newton, man, wow. He looked really terrible. I don't want to use this word because the guy is supposed to be a professional. And I know they said he's suffering from injuries or what have you, but he looked disinterested to me in this game. Throwing the ball into the ground. He really didn't help his team much in this one. But anyway, the Saints, man, we talking about quarterbacks and garbage time. Drew Brees, wow. Drew Brees still kind of struggling and stammering through this whole deal, and it's just wow. But anyway, let's get right into some of the statistics here. Talk about the team statistics. The Saints had 21 first down to 13 in this matchup. On third down efficiency, the Saints were 4-13 versus Carolina 7-15. They had about 8 passing first downs versus Carolina 7, 11 first downs on the ground versus Carolina's 5. That should have showed you which direction this team should have took. 69 total plays for the Saints versus 57 from Carolina. 346 total yards for New Orleans versus Carolina's 247. 11 total drives, 10 for Carolina. And then the Saints averaged about 5 yards a play. 5 yards a play. You look at the total passing stats we just gave you, total yards, but the passing, the Saints had 191 total passing yards versus 149 by Carolina. Rushing attempts for the Saints today, they finished with 155 yards over 32 rush attempts, averaging almost 5 yards a rush. That shows you right there what direction the Saints should have took off into, because usually it was great balance between Kamara and Mark Ingram in this game. You see Mark was running hard. Elvin Kamara was spectacular as usual, divvying in. Blanken and Mike Thomas in this game. Mike was able to get free, but a lot of pass interference, was going on. The referees missed a lot of calls for the Saints, in this one. A lot of suspect calls by the officials. Almost similarly, not as worse as what it was with Dallas, but a lot of suspect calls. Even the commentators, if you picked up on it, if you watched the game, or, they got some fans that just turn the game sound down and turn on the radio. But if you listen to the commentators, and I know, most of those guys are not Saints people or what have you, but, even the commentating kind of went toward, it's just weird, man. We don't really get no respect at that level. And when we start getting respect from them people, you shouldn't want it. Because nine times out of 10, we start buying and listening to those people, and it's just really weird, strange to me. I thought I mentioned it. But time possession, 35 minutes for the Saints versus 24-51 for Carolina in this one. Now, before I get to the individual stats, I'm going to play Sean Payton and let the coach tell you about what he thought about the game. Here's Coach Payton.
Man, so many things went into that game. It was a good team win. Proud of our defense. I thought they were outstanding. And, it's tough to win a division game on the road, and we were able to do that. Any questions? Huh? All of them they're significant. Thought we played with great energy, and good team win.
One of the wilder games you've had here, you've had some wild.
Yeah. Look, we know every time we play Carolina, and we've got a tremendous amount of respect for the type games that we play in, and sometimes you can't predict how they're going to unfold, and yet this one went in a certain direction, and it was a good win to get. Shoot, he's a tremendously smart player that does a great job of staying off blocks. It's always been a challenge, with playing him twice a year. I mean, we'll be playing him 2 weeks from now, so it'll be another challenge. No injury updates. I'll give them to you. Yeah, always. Anytime you have players hurt. We had some big runs, some important ones.
How tough was it in the passing game tonight?
Look, man, it seemed like once we had a play, then there'd be a penalty. I'm sure there's going to be a lot we need to clean up, and we will. Who? I wouldn't say that. I'll have to see the film. Yeah, listen, it's great to see. We're getting the takeaways, we're getting the hurries. Third down numbers were good. And, it's the right time of the year, too.
Big was Alvin in the fourth quarter. It seemed like he kind of gave you all a little bit of support.
We had a few big runs. Mike Thomas's block on the one touchdown was huge. Look, we knew it was going to be a hard-fought game, and our players stuck in there, hung in there. Defensively, we were outstanding.
Thoughts on that, Christian McCaffrey touchdown pass?
That was a good play. Good play. Tip your hat to him. He fumbled it into the end zone. Yeah, it's difficult, obviously. All right, we'll see you.
That's Coach Sean Payton, man, breaking down his thoughts on the game. Very interesting. Coach Payton shouting out his defense, and that's a good sticking point to start because the defense was excellent. I read the previous show. We went over the previous show, and I read all those fantastic statistics down about what the Saints defenses look like over the last 11 games. A top 5, top 10 unit in both the secondary and in the front seven. And they continue the trend, man. They held this team. This is an excellent running back, this Christian McCaffrey kid, man. Excellent. He's missed everything. He's their Alvin Kamara. And in this game, 15 carries, 53 yards, didn't get much going. He did have that little touchdown throw early that surprised the Saints, but that's pretty much it. He had 8 catches for 67 yards. He was targeted 11 times. Goose egg on the touchdown. He was ineffective in terms of getting scores and touch in the red zone to really affect the Saints, and that's because the Saints are flying all over the field. And we starting with guys like Demario Davis. 8 total tackles. Once again, I'm going to chime in and say this to the rest of the fandom out there, to the Sports Coma family and the rest of the Who Dat Nation, is the fact that Demario Davis needs to be put on that Pro Bowl list. what he's doing for the Saints defense, man. You know, and it's a team effort. But Demario Davis is all over the field, man. He's all over the field. He started the game sacking Cam Newton, knocking him around, guarding the running. He was on McCaffrey. He was. The guy was everywhere. 8 total tackles. He had a sack, tackle for loss, 2 pass defense, and 2 QB hits. Demario Davis is spectacular. Von Bell had an excellent game as well, as he had 7 tackles, 2 a sack. He had a tackle for loss, 1 pass defense, and remember, he also was responsible for running up and catching that guy and knocking the ball out, which the Saints recovered. I mean, this just was a tremendous effort. P.J. Williams played well, too, again. I mean, this is the best P.J. Williams that I've seen since he became a Saint. He's playing with tremendous confidence, and he has really played well. 5 tackles in the game. Alex Anzalone was there, 5 tackles. Marcus Williams with 5 tackles. Cam Jordan, 4 tackles. He was held all over the place. So was Alex Okafor. But Cam, Alex Okafor, Sheldon Rankins, A.J. Klein, all with 4 tackles. Eli Apple with 3. And the sacks, the Saints were able to get to Cam 4 times, which Demario, Von Bell, Alex Okafor, and I thought my man Cam Jordan had one, but he didn't have a sack in this one. It was David Onyemata had it, so 4 of them, and the Saints had it. And then, of course, the pick by Eli Apple, which he pinned his wide receiver against the sideline and then just followed the ball like a true number 1 smart cornerback did. So the defense was spectacular. Even the special teams turning on. Big ups to both those great units, as well as Will Lutz went 2 for 2, and Thomas Morstead kicked 4 kicks for 168 yards, averaging 42 yards a punt. And guess what? This guy kicked 4 times, right? Punted 4 times and put all 3 of the 4 inside the 20, backing them up each and every time. And then, of course, he took that hit where he went down and provided the Saints an extra opportunity. They didn't do a damn thing with it. But, but it's just the special teams are really showing up. So is the defense. Offense, not so much. But before we get into the rest of those topics, let's do our thumbs up and thumbs down. DC, we're going to start with you, my man. What you think? Who is your thumbs up, thumbs down player for this game against Carolina?
Well, my thumbs up, I got to give it to Alvin Kamara. Obviously, he was a big focal point for us on offense. We couldn't get a lot going, but him and Mark Ingram, honestly, towards second half of the game, seemed to really want it, and he scored our only touchdown. My thumbs down player is going to be none other than Tommy Lee Jerry Lewis, as Big Q calls him. I mean, you basically get one play, man. You get a chance to do something big this season, and you fumble it away, man. I mean, if you can't score, just don't fumble a ball. That's the only thing you can't do right there in that situation. And that's what he goes out and does, man. So very displeased with him and very impressed with Kamara. Stat-wise, it probably wasn't his best statistical game. He did have 103 yards, all-purpose touchdown, 50-yard kick return. But it was more so the plays that he made and when he made them when we really needed them. So shout out to Kamara. Tommy Lee Lewis, get off our team.
Yeah, that should be the sports coma question of the day. Should we keep Tommy Lee Lewis around? But anyway, that's not. We're gonna hit you with that and just a few on sport. But looking at the thumbs up, thumbs down for me, I thumbs up. I'm gonna do my thumbs up guy first. And you said Alvin Kamara, but I'm gonna go to the defensive side of the ball. I'm gonna give my thumbs up to 2 players. I'm gonna give it up to Demario Davis and Von Bell. Both of those guys, of course, the whole unit, this whole play spectacular. Eli Apple, Sheldon Rankins was providing pressure. Alex Okafor was terrific. Marcus Williams was good. Alex Anzalone was laying the wood. David Onyemata was doing his pressure. Tyler Davison was doing some good stuff, even though he didn't show up on the stat chart with just 1 tackle. But Demario Davis and Von Bell, they were big, man, in this one. 8 tackles for Demario. He had a sack in the game. He was all over the field. Von Bell had a really big play in which he sacked Cam Newton once to stall out a really big drive for them. And then also he had a play where he batted the ball down and another play where he was able to pursue I think that was the wide receiver, DJ Moore. That's who it was, DJ Moore. He pursued DJ Moore from the back, came all the way across from behind, pursued him, was smart enough to get that and punched the ball out from behind, which A.J. Klein, who played a really good game too, was able to recover that. So I'm going to give my thumbs up to both those defensive players, Demario Davis and Von Bell, because they had really fine games in this one that really helped the Saints retain a really close victory against a team like Carolina. And my thumbs down, yeah, I'm going to go back to that guy. I'm going to go back to, because I was thinking about giving it to Drew Brees, how terrible he was. He went right back to what he was doing in the Dallas game, throwing the ball 2 or 3 yards behind the wide receiver and overthrowing the wide receiver and putting wide receivers in terrible positions where they can get their heads knocked off, all this kind of stuff. I would have given it to him, but I thought he kind of cleaned it up later in the game. But, of course, I'm going to go to give it to your man, to Tommy Lee, Jerry Lewis, because, man, 2 carries, 13 yards for him. The fastest non-elusive guy you can ever meet is Tommy Lee, Jerry Lewis. I mean, the guy have all the world-class speed in the world with no elusiveness, can't shake anybody, no wiggle. It's really weird, really strange. You got Alvin Kamara, he got shake and wiggle in him, elusiveness. Tommy Lee doesn't display that at all. It doesn't display it at all. I wouldn't be surprised if you put them two, Kamara and Tommy Lee, in a foot race, and Tommy Lee would beat Kamara. But when it comes down to like field speed and stopping and going, the guy just don't have it. And then, of course, when he made the play trying to dive 20, I can give a guy effort points for diving, but just to fumble the ball out the back of the end zone like that, to give him another opportunity, that's just, I'm thinking about, what do we do with Tommy Lee Lewis? We've been shooting Tommy Lee Lewis down. He should, I said before the season started, Tommy Lee Lewis shouldn't have been on the damn team. They had other better wide receivers than him on the team. But here we go with Tommy Lee Lewis on the field, giving them opportunity. Of course, the defense was able to, to hold tight. But, man, I just don't know about Tommy Lee Lewis. Maybe y'all can make sense of it. But the sports coma question, the official sports coma question of the day for today's show is, what the hell wrong with the Saints offense? What's wrong? Y'all tell us. What's wrong with this offense? This offense, what the hell is wrong with the Saints offense? The last 3 road games, of course, the Saints have these last 3 road games, of course, against Dallas, then they go to Tampa, and then they come to Carolina. Is it just the road? Y'all guys tell us. We're going to talk about it on the show today in this 30-minute episode, but I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. What the hell is wrong with the Saints offense? Why do they look so, what's going on here? The Taysom Hill plays seem to be not working. Of course, the running game got going for the Tampa Bay game and this game. Ding, ding, ding. So, I want to hear that. Well, me and you going to talk about it, but that's the funny thing I want to know with all the people out there. I want to hear what y'all thoughts on about that, because that's kind of strange. Now, DC, before we go to our first commercial break, let's talk about that said O. Quickly, what are your thoughts on what's wrong with the Saints offense? Tell us quickly.
I think you just touched on it when you were emphasizing, looking, poking, and prodding, trying to figure out what it is. It's the run game. Sean Payton is getting away from the run game again. Not as bad as in recent times. Kamara and Ingram seem to be set with their 12 to 14 carries. I just feel like they're running the ball effectively, very good, very well at times, and sometimes maybe in the wrong parts of the game we get away from it. They consistently get 12 to 13 carries apiece a game, so that's not totally bad. 32 carries as a team, 155 yards rushing, which is good. But I feel that if you got it going that good, 4.8, you got a real mucky, ugly type game, keep running. Maybe this is a game where you have 50 carries. Like, why do we have to consistently settle at 32 or 33 when Drew Brees is obviously off? Help him out and run the ball. They were obviously tired.
That's right, DC. They do look quite despondent, but we're going to cover this topic more on the other side of the break. We're going to also hit our other Saints news and notes. We're going to talk about more of the Saints offense. The sports coma question of the day, once again, is what's wrong with the Saints? Oh, y'all tell us, fill us in. We also other news and topics from the Saints covering and recapping this one on Sports Coma Show 29. So y'all stay with us.
Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Boxing, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow The Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, recapping the Panthers versus Saints matchup 12-9. The Saints get by that thing. Most of these games, man, they're not going to blow these teams off the map like that. But still in all, we get an ugly win in their building. And guess what? That's 4 straight times we beat this team. 4 straight times on this team, man. This domination by the Saints at every possible level. Cam Newton finished up on the game 16 of 29 for 131 yards and a pick. He was sacked 4 times. And the Saints just got all up on him. You know, defeated them pretty good, man. And a few opportunities they had to get back in this thing. The offense just was stuttering and styming and just despondent at times. But give credit to what credit is due. 3 aspects of the team, 2 of which came to play the defense. It's just continuing to carry the team into these weeks where the offense is unbalanced. You know, and I think, like, you know, we had a couple of smart commenters. We're going to read the replies on this side of the show. I remember the Sports Coma question of the day is, what's wrong with our offense? Y'all chime in. We had a few smart commenters that chime in and made comments previously. It had nothing to do with the Sports Coma question of the day, but from previous comments made mention of the fact that the Saints don't run a 2-minute. Where's the 2-minute offense? That's a good idea, right? Where's the 2-minute offense when you're struggling like that? Why not run the 2-minute offense just to get some kind of rhythm? You know, where the hell is the 2-minute offense? You know, it's just, you know, we having these little struggles, and guess what? It don't get any easier. We have a tough matchup coming up against a very tough team next weekend afternoon. You know who it is. The Pittsburgh Steelers. They come into play. It's going to be a rock'em sock'em game coming down. But, man, But anyway, we're going to stick to this one. And like I said, man, it's really strange. Answer that Sports Coma question today is, what's wrong with the Saints offense? You know, what's wrong with the offense? Now, before we get into our rest of the topics, let's hear what Drew Brees had to say about his performance in the game against Carolina. Here's Drew.
When you start with something light, what do you think of Teddy's dance moves?
Oh, the
Bike one?
Yeah, it's good stuff. I guess, did you ask him about it? I think the inspiration was guys from his high school. I think his high school team won their second straight state championship. So Teddy was kind of following them. It might have even been this last weekend down in Florida. And those guys were all doing the dance at the end of the game. So Teddy showed me the video. He showed a couple of the guys the video. So I think it caught on. Guys started doing it in the locker room.
What has he sort of added just in terms of like the energy or
yeah. He's been great. Everybody gets along very well with him. He's a really good teammate. He's a smart guy. He gets it. He understands football. He loves football. So he just, fits in with our locker room great.
Drew, you guys went through a somewhat uncharacteristic 6 quarters. Do you feel like you kind of, in the second half against Tampa Bay, kind of refound your
Yeah,
mojo?
we cranked it up. We cranked it up a little bit. Listen, the bottom line is each and every game, it's the same in regards to, establish tempo, take control of the game, get drives going, score points. That's how you build momentum and gain confidence.
Do you feel like you guys have moved into, I guess, the second phase of the season? You completed the first phase. You win the division. You get the playoff spot. Now you're jockeying for, seeding. Now, does it feel like, I guess, a transition to another step or another level, or do you just continue to progress and plod along each game?
I mean, you try to climb, right? You try to continue to climb, and keep stacking the bricks, so to speak. Keep building on what we've already established, what we've already accomplished, and yet understanding that each game becomes the most important game, right? Just because there's so much at stake. So we want to continue to play our best football and be an ascending team going into the playoffs.
That's Drew Brees, y'all, chiming in on his thoughts. I think that might be the wrong interview the guys played, but anyway, let's move on to the next segment of the show. DC, what injury reports? I knew we've seen a couple of injuries to a few Saints players that happened in the game. Max Unger, when he went down, he won one knee, went to the tent, never came back. Let's talk about Max Unger. What information you got on him and Bushrod? What do you think about those guys? You got anything on them?
Yeah. I'll tell you about Max Unger. He went down on one knee. He's a little dazed, a little confused. He was having concussion issues, so he left the game. We don't know how serious it is. Of course, the concussion thing, you got to give it a few days and see. But he did leave under his own power, which most people do with a concussion. And he was able to notify the staff to come and assist him and get him off the field. So that's always a good sign. He knew he wasn't right instead of thinking everything was okay and let me keep playing. So hopefully his concussion will be one that doesn't last that long. Then you had Jerome Bushrod, who he was coming back from a hand, and I guess he overcame that. Now he's dealing with what looked like a hamstring issue that happened this previous game. So he had to leave the game, and we had Cameron Tom and Will Clapp in there. And I think they did pretty decent, probably as best as you could do, being unprepared for something like that. And we'll have to see what's going on with Bushrod, but hopefully we can get Tyron Armstead back. He missed this game as well with that same shoulder issue, and he was originally supposed to miss 3 games. I think this would have been his 4th game here. So hopefully Tyron Armstead is ready to suit up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we won't need Jerome Bushrod. So that would be a big break there, and I think we'll likely get Max Unger back, but we'll have to give you an update on that during the week when we do our Pittsburgh Steelers matchup.
Okay, appreciate that, man. Yeah, we had a few other players came in there and showed. Cameron Tom came in the heat of the battle. He did okay. He was all right in the game. Cameron Tom came in and fill in for a pinch. And, of course, then you had a period where they just decided to move Andrews Pete over after Bushrod had his injury and was peeled out. Pete slid over to the left tackle position. and Cameron Time filling. You had Will Clapp came in there too and provided a little push. And the Saints started to actually, if you look at the tape, they kept pounding the run inside with those reserve linemen in there. So that was real interesting that the Saints were still effective enough. They still hit the Carolina Panthers with runs from Mark Ingram, and of course Alvin Kamara did his thing in this matchup. So, I mean, it was fantastic for the Saints running game, that is, because you look at both of those guys, and we'll just cover the statistics right quick on both those guys looking at the offense, man. Alvin Kamara had 14 carries for 67 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. He averaged about almost 5 yards a carry. Mark Ingram was 12 carries for 63 yards, about 5.5 yards on a carry. Mark had a 22-yard run and a 16-yard run by Alvin Kamara. That was the longest little runs that they pull off. Taysom Hill had one that he ripped for 17 yards, in his thing. And then Kamara also were effective in the passing game as he was the second wide receiver catching the ball, 7 catches for 36 yards, no scores. But Kamara is what Kamara is. He's a multi-purpose weapon. He also had a very good a kick return for 50 yards that he ripped all the way back. And so he was Mr. Everything, as usual, for the Saints. And the Saints had great balance in the running game today. 32 carries overall for the Saints runners, 155 yards. That's almost 5-yard average for the Saints running game, and they had 1 score in that. And that kind of kept it balanced. Now, Drew was in that funk again. He got in and out that funk. His balls started to float a bit. He had a few that was batted down at the line of scrimmage. 1 or 2 plays, he held the ball a little longer than what he's supposed to. He finished the game 23 of 35 for 203 yards, just about 6 yards average throwing the ball, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. So, Drew Brees, man, really need to get his stuff together. And you know what? I think it's going to happen because the Saints finally come home. They finished the season at home. They got Pittsburgh. Then they turn around and get Carolina at home. The Saints are definitely going to get that mojo back. And, if they finish like a lot of our people think they're going to finish, the Saints will never have to worry about playing another game in nobody else's building for the entire year except the game in the Mercedes-Benz stadium, dome, whatever they call it out there, which if you think about it, we got our Mercedes-Benz stadium, and basically they got the Mercedes-Benz stadium, pretty much almost the same title. So it's like us, our home away from home in the Super Bowl is what I'm trying to get at. So, I mean, you're looking
43 points in there earlier this year. So, obviously, we feel good playing there.
Yeah, we definitely feel good playing out there, man, and that's the whole thing going down there. But the Saints, man, sometimes, we wanted a 40 burger on this team, but sometimes you got to be happy with these ugly wins. The defense stepped up, sacked the quarterback 4 times, made it uncomfortable for Cam, who looked already uncomfortable, shut down McCaffrey. He didn't have any scores in this game, and he's usually a big part of their team. I mean, the Saints defense, I can't speak about it enough. The Saints defense has really turned the corner. The last 11 weeks, they have been spot on. They've been sacking the quarterback. They've been forcing turnovers. They have been everything you want them to do, shutting people down on the running game, playing better defense in the secondary. I mean, Eli Apple has turned into a very solid cornerback opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. Then you have P.J. Williams. P.J. flipping Williams is running around here batting plays down, making open field tackles. Are you kidding me? P.J. Williams. So this greatness of the Saints unit, the confidence that they're playing with. Cam Jordan said in the post game interview that this team loves each other, that they are brotherhood, and they love playing for each other. They got an open relationship. They can criticize each other or critique or compliment each other when things are going good, bad, and indifferent. So that's a very, very unique relationship to have. DC, what do you got to say about how the Saints offense and defense are playing? What's your thoughts on that as well?
Well, the offense, we've been hard on them these last 3 weeks because we expect a lot more out of them. I mean, we got used to getting 30 and 40 and 50 points. So the offense, they're in a little bit of reinventing themselves, trying to get their mojo back. I mean, they basically reached their peak a little early. So they're trying to reestablish that and get back to winning football. Well, they put up a lot of touchdowns, but the yards, I guess, aren't where you would think they would be for a typical Saints offense. Like Drew Brees only got 3,400 yards passing. He had 43 last year. And before that, he was Mr. 5,000 all the time. So definitely a little bit of drop-off, but he got 31 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara got 11 touchdowns, rushing TDs. He got 4 receiving TDs. Michael Thomas got 8. So Mark Ingram got 5 touchdowns on the ground. So they score a bunch of points, and we just, I think, used to that. But if you pay attention, they did just enough. I mean, we did survive. We so resilient. We're a very resilient team, and you need to be able to win this way. So the offense, I think, will be able to eventually figure things out. But it's definitely a rough patch right now. But the defense is playing amazing, man. And it's like, if we could all just get it all together, we'd probably be like a super team. You know, our defense, in my opinion, I don't think anybody's playing better defensively right now. You got one other team that comes to mind that's even close, and it would be the Chicago Bears. Other than them, defensively, I think the Saints are the best team in the league at this moment right now. I mean, we constantly pressure the quarterback. We force offensive lines to hold us constantly to the point where the referees, they just turn a blind eye, because I guess they would have to call it every play. So they just let it go. We're fighting our offensive woes as well as officials. The last 3 games, the officiating has been really crazy for the Saints. I mean, call it being on the road or whatever, but we've just got some tough calls, man. People hit us helmet to helmet. They don't call anything. They're calling these weird calls on us on offense and sometimes on defense, and we don't get the holding calls, as I mentioned earlier. And the defense is keeping us afloat through all of that. I don't know how Demario Davis is not a Pro Bowl candidate. I mean, the man has almost 100-something tackles. He probably has 4 or 5 sacks on the year. I'm sure he has a couple of interceptions and probably some forced fumbles. He's playing out of his mind, man. He helps people get lined up. Anzalone has been awesome. He's everything we thought he would be. He's finally coming into his own this year. You got Von Bell stepping his game up. Lattimore finally came into the fold later, and Cam Jordan, after a very quiet start, is putting up a defensive player of the year type season, in my opinion. But Aaron Donald got that all wrapped up. Khalil Mack right after him. So sorry, Cam, but not to not mention him, though. He's right behind those guys. I think he's playing amazing. Davenport is coming at his own as well. I mean, he could have had a couple of sacks tonight if it wasn't for some holes and different things like that. Then our interior of our defense, Oyemata, Tyler Davison does his thing in the run game. And Sheldon Rankins, Oyemata and Sheldon Rankins have elevated themselves in pass rushing, being able to do that as well as run stuffing, man. I mean, we got the whole enchilada on defense, man. Ain't nothing we could do. Eli Apple solidified our secondary, as Q pointed out. P.J. Williams is playing the way I knew P.J. Williams could play, because I would try and stick up for P.J. a lot of times, because I remember a stretch in 2016 before he got hurt for maybe about 3 or 4 games where P.J. looked amazing, man. So, you know, this defense is coming into everything we thought it could be. All of the Saints hopeful and the fans who've been sticking around talking them up, will they be top 10? Now you see what we've been talking about.
That's right. The Saints defense, man, I can't say enough. And all to the Who Dat Nation, the Black and Gold family out there, the Sports Coma clan, everybody, man, we need to do something about this Demario Davis and atrocity here. We need to get Demario Davis. We know you know on these Pro Bowl voting sites or wherever you go, and we need to start voting for Demario Davis and get him on the Pro Bowl list, man, because Demario Davis is a major factor of what's going on with the Saints. He's the team's top tackler right now. Leading the team in tackles. By the end of the season, DeMario should have over almost 130 tackles, you know, and you cannot dismiss him. Of course, the whole unit is playing terrifically, but when DeMario Davis came here, he solidified, everything changed. You know, everything changed. He plays sideline to sideline. Rarely does he miss anything. I mean, he does. I mean, he's just terrific, man. He played every damn game, damn near every snap that's out there. He doesn't get off the field. When the defense is out there, DeMario was out there 100% of the time. So we need to get him up there. We know Cam is going to get votes. We knew Sheldon Rankins is going to get votes. We know Von Bell, who's been playing out of his mind, should get votes. Marshawn Lattimore. But we also need to put Demario Davis in that mix as well. He needs to get some votes as well. So with that said, let's move on to our Sports Coma question of the day replies. Of course, the question for today's show is, what's wrong with the Saints? Oh, fam. Y'all tell us, explain to us, and tell us exactly what's going on with the Saints offense, and you through your perspective, what's going on with the Saints offense. Let us know what's going on. Tell us, put it in the comment section. Let us know. Tell us what is going on with this damn offense. What's the word here? What's happening? Is it that we missing home cooking? The Saints have been away for 3 straight weeks, Dallas, Tampa Bay, and Carolina. Is that what we doing? We just missing some home cooking right here in the confines of the Superdome? Is that what's going on? Y'all tell us what y'all think about that whole deal. Now, let's read the replies from the previous question, which was, will the Saints sweep Carolina this year? Now, we got a few comments. We'll read a few of them. Carter Smith chimed in. What's happening, Carter? He says, who dat? We will be focused. We know what's on the line. We're not trying to leave home till the Super Bowl. Who dat? That's right, Carter. I appreciate the comment, man. That's ultimately the good prize like that. We need to get to that Super Bowl by any means necessary, and the Saints are handling business in a major capacity. So this will be a major move here. Soldier for God 77 chimes in. I believe if we stick to the running the ball with Mark, the bowling ball Ingram, we can sweep the Panthers. Sean Payton needs to know when to quit throwing the ball and use Breeze, relying on Breeze the whole time, and learn to trust the running game. That is spoken like a true Saints brain right there. Commonsensical, straight to the point. You have Mark Ingram. The last several weeks, Mark Ingram has been playing very well. He's been running angry. Remember that Tampa Bay run when he dragged that guy grabbing his shirt? And then in this game, he ran over Eric Reed, and Eric Reed's an excellent safety, by the way. He ran over Eric Reed, and Mark Ingram is just running angry right now. And I think that's a tremendous part of the Saints. Remember, we read the stat where the Saints had over 150 yards this game and a touchdown running the ball. Some of these games, especially when a tough game, when your quarterback doesn't appear to have it, and Drew Brees was throwing the ball in the coverage. He threw that interception, threw it right into the guy's hand. I don't know what Drew was looking at, but that just shows you that he's not perfect. Even though he plays at a high level, when he doesn't play at that high level, you see him start looking like, I don't know, forcing balls into coverage. That's not Drew Brees. When you see he doesn't have it, rely on Ingram, rely on Mark Ingram. Put the game in the hand of those two special backs to make it happen. So I appreciate you, Soldier for God. Real commonsensical breakdown right there. Appreciate you. And Lakeisha Smith chimes in. She said, even though he's trying to help Drew MVP impact, Lakeisha Smith chimes in. She said, wish y'all could be seen and interact with your supporters. Yeah, you know what, Lakeisha? We're working on that. We got the live podcast. We got a visual show coming up real soon. It's a lot of things going on in the back, in the back areas of what we're doing. We got multiple other podcasts that we put together as well. So, but yes, we're working on that. And with your support and a lot of great people like Sean Sims, y'all can help expedite that process, speed it up as you were, by contributing to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network and make a donation. Become a supporter of the show, financially speaking, to help us build a better platform for everybody. So, but appreciate the comment, Lakeisha. Going to Lionel Scott, he chiming in. He says he loves the comment, falling through the floor. Love it. Who that? Who that to you, Lionel? Appreciate it. That's an old comment I've always been saying for a while, man. It's I recognize that, man. I speak about teams. We cover the Pelicans, and I talk about them often, and other teams and bad teams falling through the floor, and going down. But I appreciate the comment, brother. I'm glad that made you smile a little bit. Verlin Casey. What's up, Verlin? Verlin chiming in. Been a while. Honestly, he says, if Coach Payday can give them 2 totally different looks, we should broomstick them Pookie Cats. I have only one true concern, and that's the piss poor officiating. Man, this man's a psychic. Can we get some fines for the officials for each missed or made up call? Kamara got his bell wrong, and we were saved by that weird safety saving call. When he was tossed back into the end zone, along with many no calls in our game and others, PJ is in a position now where he's found a purpose for playing instead of beating him. Let's see here. To prove somewhere he's not comfortable, they found a better place for him to fit. That's why PJ seems to be producing better on the field. That's why you see him drop off. That's why you see a drop off in Sherman. He's good, but a lot more lockdown and zone schemes. True that. Who that? Big Q, stay up. Go Saints. I'll see y'all in Pookie Cat Stadium to ride out there with the cold with you. Those of us going are going to make us, those of us going are going to make it as Superdome warm as we can for you. Appreciate you there, Verlin, man. You have fun out there, man. I know they had fun out there. You know why? Because we got the win. And we shut up them loudmouth Carolina Panthers fans talking all that smack. We done ended their season. We done ended the stinking, rotten Falcons season. We done put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, got some revenge on them for that loss in the first game of the thing. I mean, we done did it again, man. So we have one more game to deal with them cats and totally just squash them out. I appreciate you, my man. Y'all be safe out there. DJ Austin chiming in. DJ, what's up, my man? He says, I said, yes, we can because we beat them Monday night. Well, look at the video and highlights to get better when we when we play them again on December the 30th. So my answer is yes, I'm still worrying about these Pels, man. What are we going to do? Because if we don't do nothing this year, I feel like AD is going to leave. We have to get the Pels on the road, please. DJ is a Saints fan, a Pelican fan, and the same for all you great people out there who are Saints and Pelicans fan. We do a Pelican podcast called the Pelican Post Game Report, and we give you the real on that, man. Ain't nobody talking like us about the Pelicans, breaking it down, same way we do the Saints. So if you're interested in that, you can also find that link in the description section below. Subscribe and follow the Pelicans. But DJ, your comments, man, appreciate you. You was a psychic. We took care of business today against the Carolina Panthers. Big up on that. And as far as the Pels, man, just a little sidebar quickly. I don't know what to say, man. We just did a podcast about the Pelicans. We'll have somebody to submit a link to you to check it out. But we just covered that loss against Houston. Against the Heat. And we covered the rumors thing about Anthony Davis. Sooner or later, you mix all these factors, AD's house in Los Angeles, the fact he switched agents, and the agent he switched to is LeBron James' best friend, the Paul guy. And then you hear all these rumors, trades to Houston, for Boston and Los Angeles. And then, and then the Pelicans are doing the wave. They're up and down and up and down and up and down. Sooner or later, then Gentry comes out and make a dumb comment like, we got him right now. AD's not going nowhere until he gets his money. If he decides to leave, it won't be till after that. But Dale Demps is doing a fine job of trying to find talent. He's been trying to find a small forward for a while now. So we're going to see how that works out, my friend. But check out the Pelican Post Game Report channel. We just did a new show on it not too long ago, and we cover all that, my man. So appreciate the comment, DJ. And then, of course, Lakeisha Smith says, no, let's go. Let's go. Who that to you, Lakeisha? Appreciate your love and chiming in and your support. That'll do it for the comments for today, my peoples. As always, if you didn't get a chance to comment, this is your opportunity now to comment on the Sports Coma question of the day for today. And that is, what's wrong with the Saints offense? What is wrong with the Saints offense? Y'all tell us. All replies to be read on the next show. Of course, that'll do it for today's show on the Sports Coma. But before we chime out, let me give DC a little call here. He got something to say. What you got, DC?
On a lighter note, to give the offense some props for 10 years in the making, let's give a shout out to Sean Payton and Drew Brees for becoming second all time on the wins by a coach and quarterback tandem. So shout out to them. After we've been trashing them all show, we got to give them a shout out to that, because that's been a long road coming since 2006, 2018, and that's a hell of an accomplishment. They passed up Dan Marino and Don Shula. So congratulations, Drew Brees and Sean Payton, for that. So continue to look like the best coach and quarterback tandem moving forward into the playoffs. And y'all tell us what's wrong with these fools.
I appreciate the comment there, DC. That'll do it for the show. As always, if you enjoy listening to the Sports Coma, 3 ways you can help us out. You can do all 3, or maybe one of 3 or 2 of 3. One of which is you can go to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, and you can sign up to be a contributor of the show. Second way is you can join our social media pages. The links in the description section below. And of course, you can support the sponsors that support us at the Sports Coma. Those links are in the description section below. And as always, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit the notification button if you hadn't already. Hit it and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Pinterest, Snapchat. It don't matter. Wherever you socialize, bring us along, man. Let's try to reach as many Saints, Pelicans fans as we possibly can. So for me and DC and a great crew here at the Sports Coma, thank you for listening. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below. NewFrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. NewFrog.com has up to 70% off on some products, and you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. NewFrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 100 Affirmations, A Guide to Positive Child Self-Image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, A Guide to Positive Child Self-Image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, A Guide to Positive Child Self-Image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.